Alright then, hello and welcome back to the channel. And today we've got a guest with us.
Hello?
Could you sound any less creepy?
Well, I was actually cleaning my ear out when you said it.
I said less creepy, god damn it. But yes, welcome to Divinity 1. Oh, hold on, let me just quickly change something on here. So, the capture screen's not capturing everything, so I'll just edit that. Oh, will be one moment. There we go, that'll do.
I do apologise for that, folks. I was just testing my water bottle out.
So,
It was a bit leaking.
let's not go there, shall we? Right then, so this is just going to be a quick episode 0 because we did originally record this a couple of weeks back. I think it was a week back, 2 weeks back, I can't remember.
A week back.
Yeah, it was about that. But due to something that went wrong with the recording, we could be heard fine, but you couldn't really hear the sound. So we've had to re-record.
Bigger difference is we both are doing the episode 0 and not just him.
Yes. So just quick go over. Just starting off with the appearance. Now it's not like Divinity 2 where you've got the different races. You literally just start as human. You've got your, like I say, you've got all your different customizations. I'm not going to run through customizations on this apart from the voice.
A whetstone, quite useful for a war-weary blade.
That's the rogue.
What can I cook up today?
That's the wizard.
May have a blade or two that could use a honing.
What-
What can I cook up today? Ah, forge. The one place metal and bread are welcome in equal measure.
Yeah, that'll do. We'll go for the wizard. Okay, so just a quick go over. So it's got a lot different compared to Divinity 2. A lot was changed between the two. You probably heard that. That was my microphone rocking. So a lot's changed between. Yeah, it's because I was moving. A lot's changed between the two games for the better. So, strength governs your melee damage, and as well as your man at arms, which is basically your warfare. How much you can carry increases the weight of items you can move and how far you can throw them, which was the same in Divinity 2. Now, dexterity is basically your finesse. That hasn't really changed too much. Intelligence.
On the hand. Just zooming on the hand on that, and you got the little meme for it.
I'm gonna meme you in a minute. Next, you got intelligence, which is basically what it was. You affect your spells and your offensive rating with intelligence-based weapons. Constitution is your vitality and your max number of action points. Speed affects your movement speed, initiative, and how many action points you gain per turn. Now, you didn't have speed in the last game. I say the last game. I keep treating, because I'm used to playing the second one so much. You don't have speed in the second one. That is replaced by, well, you do, but it's not an attribute. It's swapped with memory.
Yeah, that's in the spot. It is. Yeah, speed's swapped over with memory in that one, but both speed and perception play as the same thing as it would in number 2.
See, your speed also is affected by your scoundrel still in number 2, whereas perception and speed on this have similar effects. Perception is basically what your wits were, but as well as affecting your critical chance and your initiative, it also affects your starting points in combat, your ability to detect traps, which was what you could do in the second one, but also your accuracy when shooting over long distances. So then you've got your weapons, you've got your bow, your crossbow, your dual wielding, single-handed, two-handed and wand. Now these were filtered down a bit in the second one. So bow and crossbow are just put under ranged. You got your dual wielding, your single-handed, which would wand fell under, and your two-handed. One can also go under dual wielding, I should add. Now this was something that wasn't in the second one. I was about to say the original game. Your defense. These 4 options were not available. They were taken out. So like your armor specialist, body specialist, shield specialist, and your willpower, they were taken out. But all they affect really is your armor specialist is improves your armor and decreases your heavy armor per movement penalty. Bodybuilding protects against, improves your saving throws against knockdown, burning, frozen, bleeding, crippled, blinded, weak, diseased, infected and drunk. Your shield specialist is basically, you can block, whereas in Divinity 2 I think the shield actually had to have the ability to block. You couldn't just block normally.
Chance.
Yeah.
It has to have a blocking chance, and it'll come up with a 5 to 10% chance to block, depending on variants of shields. I mean, some shields can have 15% chance to block.
Yeah, it depends on, like, say, the rarity as well and stuff like that. Then you got your skills. You got your arrow surge, which was in the second one. That hasn't changed. But no, that's a lie. What's changed is, unlike in the second one, where your memory, you could have as many spells as you wanted as long as you had the level in that skill as well as the memory. In this, you need to know a certain level before you can use a certain amount of skills. So, for instance, arrow surge, you need to be level 1 before you can use level 3 novice level skills. And that goes up as you go further into the arrow surge or whatever skill. Same goes for all your skills. So your expert marksman is how you use
Bows.
pardon me, bit of indigestion there. How many expert marksman skills you can learn, and how many action points it costs to use higher level ones. And that's the same across the board on all of them. Geomancer, Hydromancer, Man at Arms, Scoundrel, Witchcraft. That hasn't changed. Personality, unlike in Divinity 2, well, original Sin 2, I should say, in this, your personalities are classed as skills instead of civils. So instead of having your bartering and your persuasion on civils, they're actually skills you've got to level up alongside, which can take away from some of your combat effectiveness. So this does force you more to look at what's more important to you. So bartering, that's not changed. You get more, the more levels you get bartering, the less you pay, the more they pay. Charisma, basically it's persuading people, but also affects partly how the rock paper scissors minigame plays when you're playing with either the AI or another player, which we will show later on. Leadership was originally in the combat, yeah, and that hasn't changed. That is still the same. I think the only difference is actually
there is a bit of difference to it, because in number 2 it increases your damage, and I think it also increases, I think, your health or something like that.
It increases I think your a couple of resistances or something, but what I was going to say was it boosts your initiative in this, whereas when you're around people your damage is already boosted. That hasn't changed. Lucky Charm determines your luck in finding extra treasure, and it improves your offense rating. Craftsman, now this is a new one as well. Well, I say a new one, what wasn't put into Original Sin 2 or OS2. I'm just going to call it now because I can't be asked to keep saying it. You got blacksmithing. Now you could just do that normally in OS2. Same as crafting, you can just do that normally.
Well, it comes under, because crafting and blacksmithing all come under the same thing in the
Yeah, that's right. It's still the same.
Now here, this is what leadership does. Leadership grants 2 dodging and 3 elemental resistances in number 2. So that is what it does in number 2, folks. In number 1, it does differently for leadership.
Initiative and damage. Lawmaster, that's for some reason under craftsmanship. I cannot understand why that would be a craftsmanship, but
well, it wouldn't be a nasty deed, would it? And it wouldn't really be a personality thing, so I can see why it is.
But they could have simply just created an extra.
Well, you're identifying it, aren't you? You've got to identify the item.
Okay, so what's your argument for telekinesis?
Well, you're basically, you can't have it in personality, can you? Because you can't do personality stuff with your mind, can you?
But you're not crafting things. And it can be classed as a nasty deed, actually, if you use it to steal.
Yeah, but it's classed as craftsmanship for some reason.
That's what I'm saying. These two I would never classed as craftsmanship. Lawmaster, it's like Lawmaster, I would have, if need be, put it under something else, like maybe a scholar or something like that.
That's another thing, folks. We don't actually have traits in this one as well, which we will get onto in very second.
Well, personality traits, we should say.
Well, I'm on about like Jester and such like that in the second one.
That's personality traits, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, fair enough.
Go back to sleep, Hobbit.
Oh, you're going to regret saying that later.
So you keep saying. And then you got your nasty deeds. So you got lockpicking, which, that's another thing that I do need to say before Lewis opens his mouth. They've split pickpocketing and lockpicking. Because in number 2, it is thieving. It's just classed as thieving. Thieving. I don't know what's wrong. Thievery, thieving, doesn't matter. Silence. But yeah, they've separated it basically. So lockpicking determines what difficulty of lock you can pick and the speed. Pickpocketing determines what you can steal and who you can successfully steal from. A higher score allows you to pickpocket more intelligent and more perceptive characters. That's changed in OS2. In OS2, that is removed completely. All you need in OS2 is the weight and the value. And then finally you got sneaking, which is the same in both, yeah. So that's it for abilities. You got your talents. I'm not going to go through all the talents. We don't need to sit here all day and do that. But there are some new ones. Anaconda. Bully, wasn't it? Courageous. Know-it-all.
Backstabber.
Was Backstabber in the original? In the second one? No, it wasn't. That's right.
Backstabber comes under actual weapon attacks from skills. Backstabber you have to have in this one to use in this one.
Well, to be fair, backstabbing in OS2 was always available, but you can use scoundrel skills to enhance it, because you can always land a flanking shot that still classes backstabbing.
Yeah, but it just never hits half the time.
Depends. I mean, they still class using a dagger as backstabbing. If you use a sword, it's a flanking attack. It's complicated how they're doing it. I'll say you got light stepper, pack mule, doubles the amount of weight you can carry. I love this one. Politician, gives you 2 bonus points in charisma, but you lose 1 point in intelligence.
We know someone like that, don't we, in the UK?
A certain someone. We know an entire parliament full of them.
Yeah, but then there's one person who's literally decreased all their intelligence.
That's a large percentage of people we could pick from there. But we're not going into politics here. You've got scientist, which gives you 1 bonus point in blacksmithing and in crafting, which I find weird. That should have been put under something else, a different name.
Maybe blacksmithing?
No, because the skill's called blacksmithing.
Alright then, blacksmith.
Nah. I would have said like master crafter.
Then you have to have more than 1 point.
See if that or apprentice. Just go down under apprentice.
Anyway, folks, getting back to what else there is, we also have a few other ones.
You can shut up because I'm not finished yet. And I would have said the same for Lawmaster and Telekinesis, but put that under Scholar or something like that. It's my Let's Play, you're not cutting across. Right.
Don't worry, folks. We're always like this. It's somewhat of a light banter between us.
Light being a... Yeah, I was about to say light being a poor choice of words. Then there are a few others we can choose from.
But we bounced off of each other like a bouncing shield.
Yep. Hyperobia, or whatever. I can never pronounce that word. That's a weird one. Basically, hyperobia. That's it, hyperobia.
Hyperopia, yeah.
Makes you farsighted, causes your ranged attacks to be precise at long distance, but you lose accuracy as they get closer. Ow. Just kick the speaker. Ironhide gives you 3% times man at arms extra element resistance. Lightning Rod makes you immune to stun, which is, I'm grateful they took that out in the second one, to be fair. Magician gives you 1 extra use of a wand skill. Parry Master, that's always been in there. Picture I have. Pinpoint, when you throw a grenade in this game, there's a chance it will go off course. So this just makes it so that it can't happen. Sidestep basically gives you an extra chance to evade hits. Sidewinder means you can't be flanked. Well, you can be flanked, but you don't get the penalty. Speed Creeper, when you're sneaking, you go at running speed instead of walking. Stand your ground, you can't be knocked down. Swift Footed gives you 10% movement bonus. Vulnerable Mage gives you immunity to mute, and Waterproof immune to environmental effects. And as for your skills, just to finish up this part, you've got, like I say, your Man at Arms, which is basically your melee skills. Expert Marksman, which is your range skills, with some first aid, treat poison. Man at Arms also has some healing skills, Divine Light and Courage, which boosts a target's strength, dexterity, intelligence, and constitution. Your Scoundrel skills, Pyrokinetic, Hydrosophist, Aerophurge, Geomancer. Now, you don't have Necromancy in this game, you have Witchcraft. Similar kind of thing, but it's more for support than offensive. That I've found. And then you got your special skill, which is Staff of Magnus.
Another little thing, folks, he has actually messed this up a little bit. Divine Light isn't actually a healing spell. It's actually Cure Wounds that's a healing spell. Divine Light sets the warm status and decreases
yes, that is right.
body building.
I'm glad one of us is paying attention. I knew there was a healing one on there. I was just quickly going through it.
But there are another little thing that you probably have noticed, folks. We don't have any summoning spells. That's because summoning comes under all of the actual attributes of Aerophurge, Pyrokinetic, Geomancer, and Hydrosophist. They all have their own individual summon, not just one.
So far, all we've seen of that being the Spider. I haven't really seen any for the other ones yet.
Oh, there's quite a few spells that are coming up that's quite different. Like, we got the elemental shields for like all different ones. I mean, every single I think most of them all have like a shield for everyone, folks. This is just putting it out there now. I mean, I know like Expert Marksman has a shield which decreases all elemental things by a certain amount. You've got a fire shield, you've got water shield, you've got earth shield, and you've got electrical shield, and they all decrease the actual damage or gives immunity to that damage for a certain amount of time until it breaks from that precise element.
Also, quick note before we finish up, actually. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, which can be useful in certain circumstances.
Yes. What I was going to say was, you've also noticed we've got power stances, which aren't in the, I was going to say the original then, OS2. So you have like power stance for melee, power stance for ranged. And we're also missing one other skill set, and that's polymorph. As we are in this game, you do not have the summoner class and the.
It's just in some parts of the elements.
Well, I mean, as an actual class to start with.
Yeah.
And you also don't have the. What's the polymorph class called now again? I think it's literally just called a polymorph, isn't it?
Polymorph.
Yeah.
Polymorph.
But yeah, that's
folks,
about it.
But just bear in mind, folks, if he does go wrong with something, I do correct him with some of the things. Because he does tend to forget a few things, as do I. And I'm not perfect either. The amount of times I've ran into a fight and actually forgot to save.
Oh.
Or killed the cat. Which, by the way, he's still teleported on top of my head. Near enough.
Oh, I've done some stuff. I mean, I've walked into fights a few times myself, it happens. But you are notorious for it, same as you're notorious for...
not letting go the salty fight?
Oh no, that don't bother me. You're notorious for skipping everything.
Yeah, That's the one biggest issue, folks. Unfortunately, with him being the fighting class and being the female for a change, because I'm always the female, I have to do the infamous talking in this game.
What are you trying to
So
say?
I've
Women
got
can be persuasive as well. I'm just sick of doing it.
Yeah, what I'm saying is as you said, I'm very notorious for skipping things because you're always the persuasion guy, and I'm always the one who goes around and nicks off of everyone.
Your problem is you're quite impatient with the conversations, and you mash X.
Yeah, way too quick.
Yeah.
And the fact that I don't know half the actual conversation that's going on.
It's trial and error a
I
lot of the time.
I mean, there's some conversations that I do remember that you always tend to forget.
Yeah, because you've done them yourself. A lot of the ones you do, I haven't done, so...
Yeah, and I have to keep reminding you which one it is.
The thing is, you've played that part of the game more than I have, whereas early game, I remember 95% of it.
Yeah, so early game you've got more advantage. Second area I've got more advantage because I know what everything happens in that area.
And then after that, it's just a complete and utter circus.
Yeah, because we both don't know.
But enough on that, because we're just babbling on now, and this recording's dragging on. So, I shall start the recording again in a moment.
Well, can I just say very quickly, should we just do the cutscene for them and then just cut the recording after that and then go into the gameplay afterwards so that way they can watch the cutscene?
No, because I was going to do the cutscene at the start.
Ah, fair enough then. Do that way then.
So silence, minion.
I'm not a minion.
You can be. I'll get you a pair of dungarees. Right,
No.
that's it, everybody. Yes, and a pair of goggles.
No.
Yes, and I'm gonna start calling you Kevin.
You start calling me Kevin, I'm going to start calling you Bob.
It wouldn't be the worst thing I've been called in my life, believe me. Right, thank you very much for joining us before we start babbling on again.
God, I love those babbling ons.
Not when it's wasting time, we don't. Right, so we will see you all next episode.
Bye.